Okay, so guys, let's begin. So, last two lectures in Java, we have talked about what is class, then we have discussed about new keyword. Yesterday, I talked about static, and then we discussed about non static. So far, I have not talked about how to debug an application, but I am using debugging tool for explanation. So, after 5 to 6 classes, I'll also teach you how to debug a code. Okay, we'll start from the very foundation and we'll go till the expert level. Okay, so what is that students have to keep it in mind is every Java lecture that I'm taking it is important for your next lecture. If someone has missed my yesterday's class and they don't know what is static and non-static, they don't know what is new and class, then please join our WhatsApp group. I will share all the previous lectures recordings there. And in case if you have not joined our WhatsApp group, then this is the contact number 9632629033. Make a note of this number and ask them, okay, to put you into that WhatsApp group. Okay. Now let's continue further. So guys, what are we going to learn today? Okay, what important concepts we are going to explore today is this. Types of variables in Java. We'll try to understand now the types of variables in what? Java. So let me give you the heading, types of variables in Java. First one, we have something called as local variable. The next one, we have something called as non-static or instance variable. Instance means object. The other name for object is called as instance. So we have discussed few things about it in yesterday's lecture, but there are few more points. I will discuss that in my today's lecture. Then we are going to look at, okay, what are static variables, and then finally we should know reference variable. Reference variable. So let's try to understand this now one by one in a detailed manner. I'm going to start with what are local variables, by the way. Let's understand this now. So I will open up this IDE. For now, you will type all your code in online compiler. Don't use any IDE. Write down the notes. Okay, look at the soft copy of notes. Prepare handwritten notes. Practice in online compiler. Now, what are we going to do here? Is firstly, I'm going to add here another method. How many methods are there here? One method is there here. How many methods are there here? One method is there. Now, I gave you an analogy in day one of my lecture, Core Java day one. That is, whenever you add a method to your class, it is like adding one page to your book. Do you remember that analogy? I gave you an example of book. A book has an outer cover and inside the book there are pages. So class is like outer cover of the book and main method in that is one page. How many pages are there in this? There is one page. Now if I add here another method, public, void and test. Sir, we don't know. What is public? We don't know. What is void? We don't know. That's okay. Keep it aside. That's not the agenda of today's lecture. Okay, simply remember these two things I will cover in further lecture. Today's agenda is to learn types of variables. So we will restrict our thinking only to understand this concept. You cannot learn everything in one day. Slowly you will start getting clarity. So if you look at this program now, I can confidently tell that this class has two pages. This is page 1 and then we have page 2. Do you agree with that? And importantly, this is the outer cover of my book. Okay, so this is how many pages? Two pages are present in it. Carefully, if you look at this method, okay, you will observe there is no static keyword applied on it. If I don't apply static, it becomes what? Non-static. To understand methods, again there are separate lectures. I just require a basic understanding of methods to make you understand local variables. Then separately you will learn methods concept. Okay. So how did I basically get to know the method at line number 6 is non-static? Please tell me. Right. There is no static keyword. So this is non-static. Non-static, it means it belongs to object. Now observe, I'm going to write here SYSO1, and let me also write here SYSO, let's write here 2. Now observe the program very carefully. I'm going to run this program, and you see the output, it's printing only 1. It's not printing 2, which means this method is not running. When I run the program, the method that is running automatically and the method that is running first is main method. This is running automatically, but this method is not running. That is why it's not printing 2. Okay, always keep this in mind. Main method is the one by default in Java your program execution will start from. Now what I'll do here, I'll create object a1 is equal to new a, and let me put here a breakpoint. Let me run this in debug mode so I can understand things clearly. I'll go to variable section, and when I now do a step over, okay, I did not save the program. Hold on. I'll have to again rerun this in debug mode. Okay. Now, when I step over, you see that, okay, an object is created here. What is created here? An object is created here. And this test method will become a part of this particular what? Object. This object A1, okay, will hold this test method inside that object. Now again, if I continue further, still it's not printing anything. Is it printing something? No. So now what I'll do is I'll write a1.test. So I'm creating object so that non-static member is loaded to that. And now when I write a1, locate the object dot, go to that object and test. Now see what happens. When I now run this in the debug mode, observe, I'm at line 4. Now I'm at line 5. From line 5, it's going to which line? 7 and stops at 8. Did you understand now? Which means this line 5 is calling the method. And if you don't call that method will not run, which we saw earlier. Now I'm making a call to that method. That method got called and it is printing what? 2. Again I'm showing, observe here. Okay. Now the program starts with main. So I'm inside main at line 4. I'm going at line 5. Now line 5 is a method calling statement. It is calling test method. I'm calling that with object's address because it is a non-static method. Without creating object, you cannot call that method because it is non-static. Now observe, from line 5, it goes to line 7 and stops at 8, which means I'm now calling the method. When you call the method, the test method runs. And when the test method runs, what is it printing? 2. Did you understand this basic part? I'll explain the whole flow very nicely later. For now, just understand the basic part required for today's lecture. Okay. Now suppose I write here static. Then it belongs to what? Class. It belongs to what? Class. If it belongs to class, should I create object? Already there is a warning. See here. The static method from type A should be accessed in static way. So this object creation is not required. Static belongs to class. Class name dot method name. Now see, breakpoint is here. Let's start. Observe. I'm at line 4. From line 4, it will go to 6 and stop at 7. And now it is printing what? So there are two types of methods. One is non-static, another one is static. If non-static, You have to create object, then call, and if it is static, call that with a class name. Is this part clear? All of you? Yes? Is this basic part clear? If yes, then let us start our discussion with variables. So this basic understanding was required. Now if I remove this part, and now if I run my program, will it print 2? No, it will not print 2. See, is it printing 2 because I did not save the program? Check this out. No, it's not printing anything. Okay, this method you have to call. Okay, if you don't call that method, it will not run. But the main method, you need not call that. You just run your program and the main method runs. Is this part clear? Now let's continue with our further discussion. So we are going to start with what are local variables, and that is where we wanted basic understanding of methods. Okay, so local variables should be created inside a method. Okay, which is a method here? Main. So whenever you create a local variable, you're going to create that inside a method. Where am I creating? Inside main method. Okay, and when you want to access a local variable, you don't require object, you don't require class name. These variables are accessed directly with its name. Can you see this here? Have I created object anywhere? No, sir. So now see, I'm at line number. I'm at line number. Which line? 4. Now when I step forward, see variable x 100 got stored. There is no object getting created. When I now step forward, it ended up printing 100. Closing bracket of main, program stops. The very first point about local variable is you have to create that inside a method, and to access that you don't require object or class name. Point number 1 clear? Point number 2, why is it called as local variable? Because the method in which it is created, a local variable can be used only within that method. See, I'm creating here, created here, and where am I using? Here. There is no problem. I don't see any error in my program. But now I'll create another method, public, void, and test. How many methods are there? 1 and 2. Local variable is created where? In main. I'm using where? In main. Let's try using it outside main. What do you see? Error. Okay. Now why there is an error? Because local variable should be used only within the created method. If you're using a local variable, the method in which it is created, use only inside that method. Where did I create? Main. Where am I using? Main. If I use outside main, error. Now let's do one thing. Let's do one thing. This time, where is the local variable created? Test. Again, it is inside a method, so it is local. It is local. Where is it created? Inside test. Where am I using it? Inside test. Do you see any error in the program? No. But let me use outside test. What will happen? Error. Why error? Because you cannot use a local variable outside the created method. Is this point clear? Online students, please tell me. Is this clear? Is this clear? Please tell me. Yes, everybody, did you understand this part? This created line will not run. Okay, this is a non-Java code called as comment. It is only for our understanding we write that. So that is not a part of our program. That will not run as a program. Okay, everyone clear? Any questions, queries so far? Okay, no. Now, if I delete this and if I run the program, can you please tell me, if I run this particular program, will this method run? Will this method run? If I now click on the run button, will this method run and print 100? Huh? No. See here, it's not printing anything. It's not printing anything. Why? because this method you have to call, and if you don't call, this method will not run. Correct? What kind of method is it? Static or non-static? It is non-static. So what do you understand by this? Create an object first. Create an object first and then use object's address and call that. Now see, I'm calling from line 5, I'm calling. So this will run automatically. When main method runs, object is created and it will call the test method. Are you understanding? So from here, this method will run automatically. I need not call. But when main method runs, from there I'm calling test method. Now what will it print? 100. Did you understand this now? Okay. Suppose I make this method as static. Then what corrections I have to do in my program? Do not create object. Do not call with object's address. Use capital A dot test. And now when you run, observe, what is it printing? 100. What is it printing? 100. Did you understand this now? Everyone clear with this part? Online students, offline students, please communicate with me. Did you understand this part? Yes. So point number 1, local variables are created inside a method, should be used within created method. If you access outside created method, what will happen? Error. You need not use object's address or class name to access the variable. Directly variable name and you can access that particular variable. Is this point clear? Everyone? Now observe next thing. Now I'm creating a local variable. I'm storing what value inside that? 10. Now am I storing any value? No. Which means I can tell not initialized. Not initialized. What is not initialized? What is not initialized? Variable x. Now, what is it initialized with? 0. Now, not initialized. Now, initialized with 100. Now, not initialized. Now, when your variable is not initialized, and if you use local variable, what do you see here? So, this is very important rule. Whenever you are accessing a local variable, you have to first initialize that, then access it. Let's go back here and initialize. Is the error gone? Remove the initialization. Error. Initialize. Gone. Remove initialization. Error at line 5. Initialize. No error. Remove. Error. Did you understand now? So when there's an error, I cannot run the program itself. Now here, we guys are going to go through the notes and we will understand, okay, more clearly things about local variable. So let me go to GitHub, open the notes, and here directly you can search in your notes, Control F you type. Okay, you type Control F and then after search for types of variables. Okay, so local variable. Read this point loudly. Read this. Point 1 clear? Read the second point. Is this point clear? Next. Is this clear? Everyone, now observe. Is this a local variable? Yes. How did you get to know? Inside a method. Is it initialized? So will it print 10? Should I use object's address or class name? No. Very good. Now look at example 2. Where is it created? Where am I using? Inside main. That's correct. But when you use outside main, is this program clear? Okay. Look at the next one. Where is a variable created? Test. Where am I using? Inside the same method. So creating and using in same method. And we are calling it with object's address. Why? It's non-static. So what is the output of the program? 10. Very good. Look at the next program. Now, where is a variable created? So, using here, correct. But outside the test method, when I use error, did you understand? Everyone able to understand now? Okay. Next, variable x not initialized. So, without initialization, can I use error? Okay. That is what these 3 points is all about. Okay. Now, let's continue further. Now we are going to discuss about static variables, some points that I did not explain yesterday. Today we will talk about those things. Okay. Now more things about static variables. See here. Point number 1. If I want to create a static variable, where the variable should be created? Outside method inside class. With what keyword? Static keyword. Now this variable x, if you want to access, firstly don't create an object. Okay. Now what I'll do is, I will access this using class name. This is one of the approach of accessing static variable. Second approach is, you can directly give the variable name. You need not even write the class name. These two things are correct. But the third approach, do not create an object unnecessarily and try to access your static variable. So now if I now try to write here, okay, a1 dot x, this will work, but this is wrong. Yesterday we talked about it, yes or no? A1 dot x will automatically get replaced with. Now question is, have I stored any value in x? Is it initialized or not initialized? It is not initialized. It is not initialized. Now since this variable is not initialized, so check what is the kind of value I can store in it. Int. If I write int x, it can take only integer value. What are integer values? Plus or minus 10, plus or minus 20, 0. You cannot store a decimal value. 10.3 you cannot store. Plus and minus values can be stored. Correct? Now, if you don't store any value in a static variable, automatically for int, a default value 0 is fixed. This is called as a default initialization. Unlike local variable. If you don't initialize local variable, error. But if you don't initialize static variable, whatever data type you have given, based on that, automatically there is a default value concept. So default for int is what? 0. If I use float, I can store decimal value. 10.3, 20.3, 20.34. But if I don't store any value in x, it will take. Okay. Did you understand this point? Online students, please tell me, did you understand this point? So one important point about static variables are, if you don't initialize, automatically a default value gets stored in it. Example, we are further going to learn data types in Java. I'll take that as a separate series of lecture. But now for now, I will keep string. String means sequence of characters. The default value is null. So that is what we are mentioning here. Yesterday's lecture, if you go back here, observe, read this point. Is this point clear? Okay, read the second point. We did that today. Now, read this point. Correct? Which we discussed today. Everybody? Correct? Now, another important point about your static variable is, okay, it has got global access. What it has got? It has got global access. Now, what do you mean by that? So let's go here, and now I will create another method, public void and then test. Public void and then what? Test. Now since the variable x is static, see here, I'm using that variable in main, there is no error, and I'm using this variable in test. Is there any error? When you make a variable static, you can access that variable anywhere in the class. Unlike local variable. Local variable is accessible only inside a method you created. But static variable can be accessed everywhere in your class. Now, be very careful, observe and answer this question. Will this method run? Will this method run? When I click on the run button, will the test method run? Huh? Why will it not run? Because we need to call these method. If I now run, see this is going to print only line 7. Can you observe? It's printing default value. If I now write int, what is the default value? 0. But it's not printing this. So first study, what kind of method is this? Non-static. So firstly, what I will do now? Create object and then after call that particular method. Now see, what is it printing? What is it printing? Makes sense? Everyone, now if I remove this line, will this method run? Will this method run? No. Let me call that method. Now what is it printing? Did you all get this point, students? Please do let me know. Everyone? Yes. So how many types of variables now thoroughly we have covered? Local variable, static variable. What is the difference between local and static? Local, restricted to be used inside method only. Static, anywhere in the class. Make sense? Now, the next thing we will look at non-static variable. So firstly tell me, how do I make this variable non-static? Just remove static keyword. Okay? Just remove the static keyword. Is this variable initialized? It's not initialized. Is there any value stored in X? So there is no value stored in X. Now, I want to print this X. So first I have to create an object because it is non-static. Now, if you don't initialize it, nothing to worry. Again, this takes a default value. So let's run and see. Change this to float. What is the default value? Change this to string. What is the default value? I hope you guys got this point very clearly now, right? So how many types of variables we have seen so far? 3 types. What are the 3 types? Local, static. Now, non-static belongs to object and static belongs to class. Static variable is only one, but non-static depends on number of objects. Do you agree with that? If I create 2 objects, how many non-static variables are present? 2, because every object has one copy of variable x. If I create 3 objects, how many copy of variable x is present? So how many static variables are present? 3. Sorry, non-static variables are present? 3. Non-static variables are present? 3. If I now create 5 objects, then non-static variable copy? But static is? Keep this in mind. Okay? So that is the difference between static and what? Keep this in mind. Okay. So let's read this point here. Please read this point. Do you understand that? See the program. Is it created in the right place? How did you know this is created in right place? Inside class, outside method. So it is static. Can I use in main? Yes. It is static. Can I use in test? Yes. So what is that it's going to print here? 10. When I call the test method, what will it print? What is the output of the program? This already covered. So there are no points given here. Yesterday only we have seen those points. Is this clear, guys? Everyone, do you want to practice this much? Or should I continue? We are already in line number 370 of notes. We are going, okay, with zero writing with a good speed. So do you want to practice this much? You decide. Yes. If you say yes, then I'll stop here. You say no, sir, then I'll continue. Practice. Okay. So a lot of people are telling yes. Practice that. Tomorrow, I'll continue with reference variable. Fine. Then we are going to further, after reference variable concept, we are going to start with stack and heap memory. What are we going to start with? Stack and heap memory, and what is garbage collector in Java. Okay. Then we are going to learn methods in depth manner. Today we started with methods, but we'll learn in depth manner. Then after methods, like this, we'll continue further. Is this clear? Okay, so practice this much. See you tomorrow. I'll continue with our further class tomorrow. So far, I'm assuming classes you are able to understand, but if you practice, then only you will become confident about it. Handwritten notes is must and should. Just don't keep the soft copy of notes in your laptop and just try to read it. Don't do that. Make it a habit of writing down the programs that will make your syntax, okay, clarity building to be better. Otherwise, you will never have the confidence to write programs on paper. And in interviews, sometimes they will tell you to write a program on a sheet of paper. Okay? And since you have not practiced, you will be struggling to write a program. So as many times as possible, practice by writing, then type the program in online IDE. Okay? So tomorrow we will continue further, and more concepts I will cover in tomorrow's class. That's it, guys. Any doubts in today's lecture? One more thing. Lot of people are messaging how to pay the fees. So see, fees paying, you have to ensure whether it is online or offline, you will be getting one advance fees paid receipt, and then we will make you to download our app, and we will add you to the paid batch in the backend. So people have to make a note of this number. There are no cash payments people should do. The payments accepted will be only through account and my account. Are you understanding, guys? Okay. So no other payments to be made in any other accounts. Usually the accounts that I use will be the IDFC account. Is this clear? Now how to make the fees payment is 9632629033. Okay. So what you can do is you can go ahead, message them. Okay. Want to know the procedure to pay the fees. Offline people can directly ask them and they will guide you how to pay the fees. Fine. So once they guide you, once you make the fees payment, what is the procedure is you will get one receipt signed by us, an advance paid receipt. Whether online or offline, you will get a photo of it. And the next thing is your details will be then added up in the batch app, okay, which we will be doing it. So we will be maintaining in Excel, and that Excel I will be uploading it. This is clear, everyone? Okay. And you know my number is there in the group. Once you make the payment, please share the screenshot personally to my number. My number, everybody has got it? Yes, in the group it is there. You know that? I'm still writing it here. This is my number. Is this clear? Now, only when you don't get a proper response, you don't basically get a proper, response from the staff, you can just drop a message on this number. Okay, no need to call also. If I'm not being, just send one WhatsApp message on this number telling that look, they are basically not responding, okay, to your queries. Is this clear? So keep this in mind. I will be monitoring your group. And one more thing, people asking will voluntarily join. I will all of a sudden convert that to paid batch, and then I will not put anyone into the paid batch. This is the strict rule. Is this clear? Because people then they miss a lot of classes and tell me add me to paid batch. You will not be fit to take the classes in the paid batches, because every class is a very serious lecture, and the journey is going to be tough because lot of learning, 30,000 lines of notes I will be covering. So this is not 1 or 2 lines of notes you cover and you feel that I will get a job. It's not that easy. So our GitHub has 30,000 lines of notes which we will have to cover in our training program. Then only you are eligible for getting job. Okay. So it is not going to be a simple journey that you just started and you land up getting a job. So I've told you this initially also during the syllabus class. So your consistency and focus and the interest to learn should be same till the end. And if you're not interested to learn and you're not serious, then please don't waste your money by paying and joining my program. I want only serious audience here. Is this clear, everyone? And if you're not serious, just because friend joined, you don't join. Okay? We have to be fully serious till the end. And I will be tracking attendance till the end. Okay? Attendance is not to stop you from giving interview calls. Attendance is for maintaining discipline. So that we are serious about attending every lecture and improvising. It's a tough journey. And one who finishes the batch, hook or crook, 6.5 months you finish the batch, somehow you will find a job. The first target is finishing the batch. Once you finish the batch, after 10 interviews, some people after 20 interviews, some people after 30 interviews, somehow they will find a job. But preparation should not be compromised. Okay? Right? I hope you guys are all enjoying the lectures. Yeah? Is it really very tough? This will become more easier when we start using an IDE. The program understanding is going to be much, much better. See, if you're now already decided to pay the fees, then pay the fees. I will not make an announcement on that repeatedly. Whoever is interested and confident about joining the program, you can start the procedure. Some people have already joined the program already. I think offline people and online both. So that is the thing. Okay, so you people can start taking a call on that. Okay, so tomorrow I will continue further with types of variable. I'll give you few more lectures, don't worry, on demo part. Okay, but don't wait till my last demo and then after that you tell I want to pay the fees now. Okay, so my lecture quality will be same till the end because we work on references. So I will not take good lectures in the beginning and then at the end we spoil the lectures because whoever comes here by now you know you're all through friend references only. None of the people here are through some marketing medium except 1 or 2 people could be from Google or something, they would have come here. Yes? Make sense? Okay, that's it. Today's class I'm going to stop here. Sir, if we change the value of static variable then yes, very good. If you change the value of static, there's only one. Correct? There's only one. And if you change that value, it will change everywhere. In objects, it's not like that. You change the value of variable x in one object, the value will not change in another object. But static is not like that. You change the value of static, throughout the program value is changed. Because there is only one variable. Make sense? Good, Prasad. Bye-bye. Take care.